There is, however, some shitty stuff about this movie. There are one or two shitty things about this movie. And I think all the problems with this movie pretty much stem from the fact that it's a J.J. Abrams film, which sucks because I know he was so stoked to make it, right? Because he's like a giant Star Wars fan or whatever. But like, all the problems with this movie that I have with this movie turn up in every other J.J. Abrams movie, like ever. He's not a very he's not a very competent writer, and he did help write the script on this, like he does with like most of his films. And like directing, like he knows how to set up a shot and make everything look really pretty, but pacing, editing, and exposition are not like his strong suit. He's good at getting actors to do what he needs them to do, which is cool, but yeah, there are like a few like weird narrative choices in here that, first of all, that I was not a big fan of. It was one of them was like the major like thing that the bad guys have in this movie is like like a giant fucking space station thing, but like kind of like the Death Star. But what it is it's just like it's like a planet that they hollowed out and they stuck a great big gun in that can shoot like super far. It can shoot like through hyperspace or whatever, and like hit like planets like on the other side of the freaking galaxy, you know. And like it can do like four at once. It's a big fucking deal. It's a big, scary, terrifying weapon that's like, it's their like, we're better than the Death Star, you know. So, but like they don't set it up to be a thing like at all throughout the entire movie until like the third act, you know. Well, like at the end of the second, I guess it blows up some planets, but and then like that becomes the focus of the movie. But like like it doesn't like they don't set it up enough. Like in like New Hope, they set up the Death Star like all the way throughout the movie. Like, you know, there's like they're trying to get to Alderaan or whatever, and Death Star blows it up, and they find the Death Star, and they're like, "Where is it? It blew up the planet! Oh my god!" You know, and everyone's all freaked out, and then they're on the Death Star and they're running around doing stuff, trying to save, people from it, and and then like later at the end they come back and they blow it up, and that's that feels good. Like in this, it's just this improbably powerful, scary weapon that these guys have that they don't even talk about until like the last half hour of the movie, and it almost lessens the impact of it. Because it could have been a lot cooler, and the way it gets its energy is also like a little weird because like it powers its gun by sucking the energy out of like nearby stars until the stars just die, which is cool. But if you're gonna make a gun in a planet, that's like the perfect opportunity to make it powered by like geothermal energy and like have it all steamy and weird and lava-y inside. That's like a missed set piece. I think that they could have really like worked with really well, and I know why they did it because there's this whole thing that happens with one of the characters, right? And like they know the gun's gonna be ready to fire when the sun goes out and like it gets all dark and stuff, and they do like a lot of symbolism with that because there's like this whole kind of light side dark side like struggle thing, and like light goes out. I don't want to spoil that part for you because it's pretty fucking intense. If you haven't seen this movie and none of your friends have fucked it up for you, like you're gonna freak out, even though they telegraph it about 5 minutes before it actually happens. But yeah, like that's why like I know that's why they powered the gun like that, to do this whole light side dark side dichotomy thing like visually, but it just doesn't work. It doesn't feel good. What else bad do I have to say about it? Yeah, J.J. Abrams. So there's a lot of daddy issues, right? Like instead of setting up the cool ass space gun that like blows up planets, They they took like all the screen time like setting up everyone's daddy issues. Like really bad, right? Like main bad guy, or not the main bad guy, but like that the dude in the hood, Kylo Ren is his name, with the mask and stuff. Like half like a lot of screen time is like setting up that guy's like whiny daddy issues, you know. Which kind of makes it not great. I don't know. Like it kind of makes that character not great. Like it would have been good to establish him and then do that stuff in subsequent films with him in it. You know, like make his character arc be across like the trilogy, kind of like they do with Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader. You know, like their whole character arc thing like goes up until like the last movie, and then that's resolved. Then the movie's over because it's kind of about those guys, you know. But this dude, like he like all his conflict gets set up in like the first in the first movie, like in the first like half of the movie actually. And they also do a bad thing where like he's got a sweet mask with like this like crazy like speaker in it, and like he sounds like really menacing and he looks scary as shit, and he feels like super confident, and he's like really like he's got like crazy Jedi powers that like you don't see in any other movies. Like there's this one like in the opening scene of it, like one of the guys somebody tries to shoot him with just like a fucking like a death ray or whatever, and he uses the force to like stop the bolt, the energy bolt thing from like hitting him, and it just like freezes in the air, and it's like it's all sparking around. It looks awesome, and he just like lets it go, and it fucking blows up his statue. It's super cool, right? He seems super awesome throughout the whole movie, and then somehow he gets completely incompetent. Like for one thing, like they have him like take his mask off and stuff, and he's just a regular guy under there. You know, he's a regular guy who looks like somebody I might see at like a metal show, or I might play D&D with, or you know, he's got like this shoulder length hair. He looks a little bit like he looks like a younger Severus Snape from like the Harry Potter series. And they even have like they have a Snape moment with him where he's doing like mind meld shit with like the lady character, and she like shoots it back at him. You know what I mean? Because she's like super good at the force. So it reminds me of the Occlumency thing, and I think it's Half-Blood Prince, where they're no, not Half-Blood Prince, Order of the Phoenix, where it's Harry Potter and Severus Snape and he's trying to teach him how to keep Voldemort out of his brain or whatever, and they do that thing. They do the same thing in this movie, and the guy looks like Snape, so that's all I could think of. But yeah, like they have him take off his mask, and like he's got like a kind of a whiny voice, and it turns out like and like that would have been great in like the second movie, you know what I mean? Like the second half of the second movie, you know, like whoosh, it turns out I was a regular guy the whole time, and I'm just kind of like a whiny dude with daddy issues and a crazy ass lightsaber, and I'm here to kill everybody. You know, that would have been super perfect and like a really cool reveal. But for this, it just seemed like it was too soon, like in this movie, you know, because they build him up to this menacing dude, and then like it turns out somebody else who's like, you know, good at the Force but has never like had any like Jedi training or anything is just like a lot like super better than him at everything. And like he's having like lightsaber fights with people in the forest, and he doesn't feel very good at it at that point. He like seems like a kind of a not very good villain, you know, compared to what he was in the beginning of the movie, which was fucking awesome. He was super spooky, doing a whole bunch of creepy shit, like running around in like black with like this crazy, it looked kind of like his helmet looks kind of like a future diesel punk like samurai fencing mask almost. It's similar to Darth Vader, but like in a lot of ways it's cool. It's a cool update. Yeah. So I didn't like that. I didn't like what they did there. First part of the movie definitely feels like a fan film. Which is kind of a bummer. And it is a fan film. It's like J.J. Abrams is a big fan of Star Wars, and they just gave him like a ton of money to fucking make a fan film. You know what I mean? And the original actors. But like, yeah, like it just kind of has that same kind of vibe. Like, you know, they're talking about characters from the original trilogy, like they're super fucking legendary and shit, and like everybody knows who they are. And they're like, we gotta find this guy with a map, you know. And I was like, oh no, right? And everyone's freaking out. Which did like that's another thing that doesn't make any sense, but I'll get to that later. But yeah, like it feels very fan filmy. It feels very like, oh man, kind of like, just like those Star Wars fan films you see at like comic book conventions or whatever. You know, it just kind of feels like that. Like throughout, it's hard to explain exactly what I mean until you see the movie. But like when you do, keep that in mind, or if you have seen it, keep in mind like a Star Wars fan film, and then think of this while you're watching it, and you'll see like the first like 15 minutes is very fan filmy. It's yeah, but it's not entirely bad news. That one's not like super bad because like I see where it's coming from. It's coming from love. I get it, you know. But yeah, like that's the other thing is Abrams. Man, you were so bad at exposition. He's super bad at setting things up, you know, and making them make sense. Like this is the problem I had with the second Star Trek movie, the one that was kind of like Wrath of Khan, because this had like similar stuff like that. It was like, you know, he'd either not set something up enough and expect us to be like real excited about it, because like obviously we've all seen the trilogy, you know, the original trilogy, but like there's a lot of it revolves around like a map to Luke Skywalker, but it doesn't really like I can see why the bad guys want that, you know, but because like I guess he just disappears after Jedi. He like tries to make like make the Jedi Order or whatever, like that religion, like happen again, and then shit goes to hell. Of course, like it does, you know, when you try to make cults return. But yeah, man. But like I can see why the bad guys are wanting that, but like there's no reason for anyone like any of the actual like main characters in the story to want that map or like actually find this guy other than just to like hang out with him and like get his autograph or whatever, you know. It was just for like the bragging rights of like, hey, I met Luke Skywalker on his weird little island. He's definitely on the island from Lost at the end. Which is kind of awesome. Good job there, Abrams. But yeah, it's like it's set up in a weird way. It doesn't quite make any sense. Anything else? Anything else bad about it? Yeah, it's just J.J. Abrams shit. It's just like a ton of daddy issues. You know? Like the main girl, Ray. She has those like crazy. She's like, they abandoned me on this planet. Oh shit. You know what I mean? And she's just having like a bad time with it. But hopefully she gets over that real quick, and like in subsequent movies, she's more awesome. She is awesome. It's an awesome character, but like just the way Abrams portrays it, it's not quite right. There's a weird thing regarding Luke Skywalker's lightsaber in a basement, which is strange because the way they portray it, it seems like he used the same lightsaber all throughout the first trilogy, but I know that he made one, and like the second, like Yoda makes him make one or whatever, because he comes back. I see that you've constructed your own lightsaber, like at the end. But like they make it like it's like some family heirloom. I'm pretty sure he loses it in Empire when he gets his hand cut off, right? His first one, it just falls out of Cloud City. I don't know how it ends up in that fucking basement. Not important. Whatever. You know, but that's fine. That's like a very minor gripe. Yeah, man. Other than that, it's pretty damn good. Other than the standard J.J. Abrams shit. Him not being able to set stuff up properly. Like, he doesn't... Like, he just never does it right. He never, like, he doesn't set up the... Instead of, like, setting up the cool, like, death weapon, you know? Like, it doesn't feel quite as cool because he didn't set it up at the end of the first act. You know, I know that's like super nitpicky screenwriting stuff, but you'll see what I mean. You know, um, he didn't set that up properly. That could have been a lot cooler. That could have been like a big deal. Um, Instead, he sets up everyone's daddy issues. Like he goes for the characters, which is cool. You know, like I kind of like I almost appreciate that, but not in this sort of genre film like he's trying to do right here. You know, you gotta look at that. You gotta look at the genre there, JJ. You know what I mean? Like you gotta keep the daddy issues on the low, like like the original trilogy did. You know, this didn't really come into play until like the second and third movies, when the characters were, you know, being developed a little bit more. Um, Carrie Fisher was good. However, the character of Princess Leia, I found in this film that she kind of lacked agency a little bit, as opposed to the trilogy. And I can kind of see why. Like, you know, Carrie Fisher is like 200 years old by now, you know, and it shows. But you know, so she probably didn't want to do like a ton of action, you know, because it felt ridiculous maybe. Yeah. I don't know, but like they set her up to be this, like, in exposition dialogue, they set her up to be like a super important like leader of like stuff and like a whole like big deal in the New Republic. Well, then you actually see her and you actually see her doing shit. She talks to Han Solo for a while about kind of like bummer family stuff, and then you know, she doesn't really do all that much. It kind of sucks because I was hoping she'd be awesome in it. Like, you know, she's all right. She does a good job. Like, Carrie Fisher does a good job portraying everything. You know, it's just kind of like the way they wrote the character for this movie just didn't quite work for me. Yeah, other than that, I'm feeling pretty good about it. The super cool fighter pilot guy. No, I can't tell you. I don't want to tell you about that because that's a spoiler. Okay, so yeah, nice. Force Awakens, pretty fucking good, but it does definitely have J.J. Abrams flaws going on in it. Yeah, man, this is like half an hour long. I might have to break this up into 2 parts. But oh yeah, also, if you're worried about cuteness, don't worry about cuteness. Like, there's a little droid called BB-8, and he's very cute. It like runs around a little ball. I'm sure you've seen it in the trailers. But yeah, it's not Jar Jar cute. You know what I mean? It's not even Ewoks cute. You know, it's just kind of there. You know, it's charming, but it's not like they're not like making you try to believe that it's charming. They're really good. Same thing with C-3PO comes back. He's pretty good. You know, weirdly his voice sounds different. I don't know if it's the same guy who was voicing him or if they just use different filters, but his voice sounds super high, which is weird to me. I'm not quite sure why. Maybe I'll have to watch the original trilogy again and figure out if I'm remembering his voice right or not. Yeah, but there's no excess cuteness, and everything funny that happens is super charming and like charismatic shit between like most of it's between John Boyega and fucking Harrison Ford, man. they're really really good together in this movie. Like, they're super fun. But okay, yeah, I'm done. I'm gonna take off this fucking Wookiee suit and cool. Okay.